Hello, Aquarius. For this read, I'm using the Morgan Guerrero Tarot by Paul Foster Case and Arthur Edward Waite. Starting to remember that one. That's good. For the Sport Cards and Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. Boop, boop, boop. Those are pretty normal. I've already shuffled. Interesting situations. Ace of Cups, King of Cups. You got a lot of doubles going on here. Stop. Okay. You've got hidden things. Alright, only 2 cards for the Oracle for you too. Okay. Must be a theme for today. No. Is this a... Yep, that's a double. This is a double. Is he a double? No. This one was a double too until I cheated and looked. Your overall energy here, the Magician card, making it what you want, using your resources, communication, emotion, action, intellect, steadfast, like putting things together. I'm trying to figure out, I can't, for some reason the earth element isn't popping into my brain right now. Stability, stuff like that, staying on that path, building things, there you go. You're creating the situation as you like. I'm feeling really good about it. I'm feeling like you have complete control and you're winning over or moving past, overcoming obstacles, things like that. People aren't standing in your way, and some people are being subdued completely who are trying to stand in your way. That's like the overall I'm feeling to start with. You're going in a great direction. You're communicating and you're starting things. I get a stable base here. When I see the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords, when they work together, they communicate and they create a stable base. They shape and mold things as necessary. Together, that energy works very well to take a rough situation and smooth it down and create something beautiful out of a very, maybe, rough, raw situation. Okay. So I feel like when you're coming into this, you have a very, like the High Priestess makes me feel like you're not having a selfish outlook. You're having a very dedicated, defined look about where the situation needs to end up. When you're carrying, you're not, I don't feel like you're really bowling over people, but you're like, if you have to go a different direction to appease somebody, but it's going to really throw off the situation and cause some problems, you're going to be like, well, listen, I'm sorry, I understand how you feel. I feel like you'll address it, but you're like, we can't do that because it's going to take us way off course and it's not good for the whole. So I'm sorry, and I'll acknowledge that. And maybe there's something else we can do for you down the road, but for right now, we have to go this way. I can't do that. I'm sorry. And you're keeping it on track. And I feel like that's what you're doing, but you're communicating this, and you're trying to be nice as possible. Interestingly enough, I do feel like the other side is on point with you. They feel very listened to, or what do I say, very considered. You're communicating in a way, but they're not, even though you can't go their direction in some cases, there's no animosity. Like, I feel like you're showing compassion in a way that they feel like if you could, you would. You're not doing it out of maliciousness at all. It's just you explain, like, we're going this way. I can't go over here. It's gonna throw things off, and we're not gonna make it to the destination. So I can't. I'm sorry. And you keep things going this way. And I feel like the way you explain it is very respectful, very honest, and very caring. I feel like you're very good about it. They feel very valued. So I'm getting the joy card on their side. Like I don't feel like they're overjoyed that you can't do or go the way they want, but they are happy the way you're handling it. They agree. They understand. You explain it well. Okay. That joy is like mirrored in the center here with the Ace of Cups. Everybody's getting along. Everybody's having a good time, as much as you're gonna, depending on the situation. Because I feel like this is a lot of work. A lot of people watching this, it's a work situation. Which hopefully you do enjoy your job, but like work is work sometimes. It's all going together as planned, though. So what's the underlying factor with that? Patience, temperance. It's going to take some time. I feel like people are settling in for the long haul, and so aren't you. King of Pentacles is kind of... There's a Pentacles feel here. There's technically only one Pentacle card on here, but it feels like that's dragging through. Especially when it's the King of Pentacles. That's a dominating energy that goes through a reading usually, I find. Depending on where it is, of course, I should say. But it's coming in, it's also matching up with the Ace of Pentacles. Like, I don't feel like anybody's like dreading any of it. It's just, it's going to take a while. There's patience, but I feel like there's a cooperative effort. It's getting along well. It's kind of like the relationships and the situation and or one of the two are very conducive and working out very well. I feel like people might not be aware of how long this is going to actually take. I'm thinking you probably do, though. Okay. Is the King of Cups. The King of Cups. The King of Pentacles matching with the King of Cups here at the end. As we're moving out of this time frame, I feel like there's dedication, and people are very behind this. They're behind you on this situation. There's a lot of support for you. I feel like people are starting to see how long this is going to take. At the end of this cycle here, at least for this reading, they're starting to realize how long this is going to take to make this come out correctly, but I feel like they're in it at this point. At this point, they're very much into it. They're very dedicated to it, and they want that great payoff as well. So I feel like you have support. I feel like this is going on, like this drags on through the end, or at least, towards the end, where everybody's on point, everybody's enjoying it. The King of Pentacles going to the Ace of Cups, going to the King of Cups. Everybody's on point. There's a long haul feel here, but there's enjoying the situation, enjoying the results. I feel like this is going in a really good direction, and people are feeling very confident and proud of what they're doing. Okay. One spot we haven't touched on yet. Like, I'm seeing on the other side, they have the Nine of Swords, which I feel like there's certain things you can't do that other people want to happen. So they're feeling kind of stuck. Some people feel like there's certain things certain roles they have to take care of that they may not want to be a part of, or not want to really like to do, or really don't like to do, I should say. But they're doing what they need to do. They're kind of stuck in a certain spot that they don't really want to be in, but for the whole and for how you've explained it, they're on board and they're doing their best as you expect them to do. The underlying, because this one came out with a double card, the King of Rods, another king, another court card. We have 3 kings. Okay. So, the King of Rods behind the bound. Like, I think what we're seeing here with the King of Rods, he likes to do things his own way. He likes to be a little more impulsive sometimes, but in a very responsible way, like things that can be done differently or things that can change on a spot's notice. Not the main what's going forward usually, because everything seems to be taken care of, but maybe a little different order or a little bit of passion, things like that. A little different, likes to change things up, I feel, but very in a good way. I feel like he's a little subdued about doing things his way, but I also feel like he's a very, very strong motivator, very strong support here. He gets things done. Again, remember when these general reads come out, don't get caught up. Sorry, don't get caught up with the gender of the cards, because it's not. I think it could be male or female. It could be anything. But there's people, and I'm feeling like this is a few people, a few pieces of the element. Like there's a lot of support, and there's a lot of belief in what you're saying and where everybody's going. I just feel like it's the way. People would like to be a little more fluid with how things are done, but you're like, nope, we have to stay on course. This isn't going to work out if we each kind of just take our own piece and just do it the way we want. It's not going to congeal at the end the way it needs to. We each have to do it a certain way, and because we're going to put these together, it's going to be a puzzle that needs to fit together, needs to lock together correctly. And if we each do it just the way we want to, it's going to be a mess. It might work out, but nowhere near at the precision it needs to. Okay. All right, and I feel like you're very smart. I do feel like you try to add in elements where you can, but I'm kind of also getting that you're not going to do that. Like you're going to keep it on the steadfast. I feel like you're subduing that what do you want to call it? Impulsiveness changing things up, people doing things their own way. I feel like you're keeping that to a minimum as much as possible because you're like, I've seen this happen before where I let people do what they want, and it just, the pieces at the end do not match up like they should, and it causes more pain than anything else, more grief than anything else. So we have to stay on point. We have to do it a certain way. We all have to stay on point. It may seem a little bit rigid, but it needs to be for this to really work out. Because we're going to take, each of us are going to take our pieces and put them together at the end. It has to congeal. It won't congeal right if everybody does it the way they want to. It's not just about getting each piece done. As long as it gets done, it's okay. That's not how it is. It has to be done a certain way so we can put them together at the end. This reading seems very technical to me, but I feel like if it's hitting for you, it makes sense. So I'm sure. And thank you for the comments, because I know people leave a lot of comments for me, and I read them all on my phone. I just don't have the time. Responding to them on my phone is a pain in the butt, but I do read them, so thank you. Is there anything else with this reading we need to know? I feel like this is just supporting that you have to do it a certain way, and you have to be a little more rigid about how it's done. Other people around you may not like that it has to be done that way, but I feel like the time you're taking to explain it and the respect you're giving about that makes a world of difference. Anything else? I think that's the whole thing. Like, you're taking the time. I feel like people around you very much support you and believe in you. And when you explain why it has to be, I feel like you have to explain the congealing a few times. I feel like you have to explain, like, I've done this before, we've done this before, however that resonates for you, and you explain to them, hey, if I let everybody do it the way they want to, it can't, and just as long as it gets done, it's okay. It's not going to match up, and we're going to have a bunch of problems. It's going to be a mess. We're going to have done all this work to come out with minimal result, and I don't feel that's right. I feel like we should all work together, stay on point, and do all this work and come out with maximum payoff, like the best we can come. Like, if we're going to do all this, we're going to put all this effort in, we might as well make it the best we can and get as much as we can out of it. I feel like you have to explain this a couple times, but I feel like it's not that big a deal. Like, I almost feel like you're ready for it when you have to. You're seeing it ahead of time, and you're like, yeah, probably going to have to go over this a couple times, but I feel like you're ready for it. And I feel like the preparing and realizing, you know what, I'm going to have to go over this 5-6 times here. And if that's it, so be it. I feel like you might even go over it in pieces now and then, reiterating here and there, but it very much lifts confidence, it lifts spirits, makes people feel like they're being taken care of and looked after, rather than just pushed aside and ignored. I feel like you're addressing and acknowledging really brings up morale and brings up strength in this situation. It looks like it's going to turn out very well. All right, I think we're kind of done here, so I'm going to end it here. If you'd like if you'd like to purchase a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If I can speak. Thank you.